All right, welcome to an end of the week special edition of Teaching Crypto. Please hit that like, that subscribe, bell notification. Super chats in the store are open. All right, feel like I stepped into the movie Back to the Future, but not in a good way. Pushing 125, and 3 days later, eh, back to 117K. The alts haven't gotten destroyed as bad as I thought they would, given losing 7K BTC within the past 54 hours. What's going on, Mr. FOMO? I don't think this is what we had in mind when we were talking about going to 130 this month. I still think it's definitely in play, but we just took a huge step backwards. Let's keep it real. That's what we pride ourselves on doing the last couple days.
Well, remember, Bitcoin never goes straight up. It's going to have its surges, and then it's going to have times when it relaxes. And this is just a time that it relaxes. It gives you an opportunity to DCA in if you still believe that the market is going to go to 130 or 150 or 180. Nothing has changed with Bitcoin. It's really just world news and weird things like that that kind of tie up Bitcoin right now, but nothing has changed in the fundamentals of Bitcoin. So there's no reason to be worried. But I still think we have room to run here. This is just Bitcoin taking a little breather after a strong run. You know, you go on a sprint, you've got to take a break, and then you can sprint again, right?
We had some
That's
bad
what
economic
Bitcoin's doing
news
now.
with inflation. Then we had a report that the government was not going to buy Bitcoin for the reserve. They got killed with negative feedback, and they said, well, maybe we will find some ways to get Bitcoin. So they can't keep the message straight even within an hour. It's
Right.
such a
And
horrific. I'm sorry, but you gotta when you announce something, you can't backtrack an hour later. How are you shocked about the negative reaction when this was a big part of the reason why you got elected? Let's keep it real. One of the reasons why is you had huge support from people that own Bitcoin and thought that you were going to push crypto, and so many mixed messages over the past 8 months, really since January. You know, so many rumors. Some become true. Some are completely false. It's almost like they're making it up as they go along here.
well, the good news is that the final message that came out was that they are going to find budget neutral ways to acquire Bitcoin, which means they're going to continue doing the same thing that they already do, which is confiscating Bitcoin from criminals and
Hopefully, just
keeping it.
criminals.
Hopefully, it is just criminals, right?
Well, okay. So this is some good news. It really hasn't affected the market, but the Federal Reserve is going to scrap a program devoted to policing banks on Bitcoin, crypto, and fintech activities. This, as Michael Saylor said, opens up the door even more for banks to push to carry Bitcoin. Honestly, I do suspect that's happening either at the end of 2025 or 2026. That's good. I mean, we've bounced back a little bit. We went all the way down to 116 today. Um, and so 116.8 actually. And now we're kind of pushing 117.5. So a bit of a, but I really want to see us get up to 120 and hold that 120 and use it as a springboard
That would be great.
130 this month. That's what I really want to see. And then I want to see the alt start catching up. One alt that I'm very, very positive on still, and you have your hesitations here, but Grayscale files a Dogecoin ETF. This would be the first meme coin ETF, Mr. FOMO. Who knows if it's going to get approved, but this at some point should lead to a Dogecoin run, I believe, in the next not 4 months, excuse me, in the next 2 to 3 months. I wouldn't be holding these in December, but this should be a good fall for Dogecoin um, based on past performance and last cycles. We'll get to whether it's really altcoin season or not, but Doge definitely, I feel like, has some room to recover once Bitcoin really finds some stability here.
I think you're right. I think the ETF filing is an important step. You're also right. Whether or not it gets improved or approved is another thing altogether. But I think it's a positive thing. And if it does get approved, then that would, based on history, show that Doge has a lot of room to run. and that would wipe out my previous prediction, of it not getting to $1. I think if you get an ETF that is approved, I think you maybe see a dollar
No,
difference
ETF
going into the
approved, you're
alt
talking
season.
about 75 cents, I think, within 10 days. I mean, remember last time Doge, granted, Elon Musk went on Saturday Night Live and that was kind of the sell off, but Doge normally has parabolic weeks and then really kind of goes down slowly after that. So, 23 cents, do your own research, like we always have to say. I do think Doge for the month is up 17%. For the year, believe it or not, it's hard to really think about this. Doge actually is up, Mr. Foam, 128%. It started the year at 9 cents, believe it or
That's
not.
right.
So actually, it's doing well, although it got all the way up to 48 cents. I'd be shocked if we didn't at least get back to 50 cents. That's more than a 2x. That's a lot of gains right there, depending on how much you are willing to risk. So I like Doge. And today really is about some pulling up some charts of some altcoins. And then you'll talk at the end if you really think that it is or we're getting close to altcoin season because we're running out of time. There's an old saying that it's getting late early, meaning things need to move sooner rather than later. All right. As always, these charts are not always accurate. A lot of people are starting to get bullish on Injective. It had a really good run early in the bull run and it's kind of wilted a little bit. But here you can see that this predicts we're in the middle of a reset and that we will go much, much higher in September. So, according to this chart, between now and middle September, Injective could have a really nice run. I do like Injective a lot. It does have some big players behind it, whether you like them or not. Mark Cuban is a big name. He has some money in this. And so, besides Dogecoin, do your own research. If you want to play it safe with alts, and at some point, alts should outplay and outgain Bitcoin, this is one that I like.
I also like Injective, and what Ali is saying there is that it's broken through a strong line of resistance, and that if it comes back to retest that and bounces off, you could see a huge bullish move for Injective. And I think he's right. I think we'll get into this in a little bit, but I think we are on the precipice of an altcoin season, and we'll talk a little bit about why. But yeah, I think he's right. I think Injective and a lot of other coins are going to see breakthroughs of some pretty tough resistance points. Then you'll see them retest and then go up.
All right, why don't you tell us why you think technically we're still not in altcoin season? I mean, honestly, the data, look at the tokens, they're just not moving as a typical altcoin season. How close are we? And the biggest question, the $1 billion question, when is it too late?
All right, so you're looking here at CoinMarketCap's altcoin season index. And as you can see, we are just on the precipice of the altcoin season. We're still in Bitcoin season, but something that I want you to look at, if you're also on CoinMarketCap, they always have it floating at the top. You can look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance is falling in a big way. Even though Bitcoin went on a run this past week, it's still, the dominance is still falling. ETH dominance has gone from 11 all the way to the high 13s now. And so you're looking at ETH dominance of, see, I can't get it up, or I can't pull it around right now. But ETH dominance is over 13%. That's 2% growth in the last couple of days. So you're seeing the ETH dominance and altcoin dominance start to rise. You're seeing Bitcoin dominance start to fall. That is a signal that altcoin season is just around the corner. And as you can see here from their altcoin index or their altcoin season index, it looks pretty close.
It looks close. I think we'll get there this month. But again, another bad week is not good. Look, I think 150 is still safe by October. 180, we'll see. Like you said, we never go straight up, and traditionally September is not always great towards the end of the cycle. Now October is usually amazing. We will see. And then the alts kind of do run a little bit into early November. Some make it into late November, Thanksgiving, but then by December, a lot of things really it becomes clear we're probably in a bear market.
Mhm.
And then you get like a dead cat bounce in January, people get excited, and then as the year goes on, you realize no, we're in a bear market. And I really, the longer this goes, Mr. FOMO, because the government has not been as aggressive in terms of accumulating Bitcoin, I do think there's going to be another bear market. You saw, for example, the other day, Tesla still holds a lot of Bitcoin. I'm going to make a prediction right here live. I think they're going to sell in 2026 or late 2025, just like they did last time. I think you'll see some people sell, not Michael Saylor, but others. And quite frankly, even whales want to take profits. That third boat doesn't doesn't pay for itself, right? I mean, that trip to, Yemen that your family almost took is not free. So I'm just saying, the ninth cruise of the year doesn't pay for itself. All those things cost money, and most of these places don't accept Bitcoin. So even whales take profits. It's hard to think about that. You think a whale would just hold all their Bitcoin until eternity. No, whales are constantly accumulating and dispersing Bitcoin all the time. In fact, whales do the same thing with altcoins, right? And so it's usually a bad sign if a lot of whales have kind of unloaded, and it's a good sign if they've actually loaded up. And Doge has had some whales scoop up over the last 3 days, which is a good sign. Sometimes the price immediately doesn't show that, but I just want to make sure that we're clear about that. And I'm going to bring that up here. Should have brought that up when we talked about Dogecoin, but this is what I'm talking about here. And these are the type of details you don't get in other shows. Other shows are going to tell you, hey, this is a price prediction. Things are going up. Bull run forever, greatest bull run ever. Please share the show because, I mean, it's a kind of a travesty. We don't have more viewers, to be honest with you. That's okay. We're not complaining. But if you haven't shared the show, please do so. Help us out. All right. Over the past just Mr. FOMO week, 8-9 days now, 2 billion Doge have been scooped up by whales, right? You saw at some point they unloaded there and like a local top. This gives me, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that they scooped this up before the ETF announcement today, is
It's
it?
not.
This gives me some hope that as early as next week, we might see some Doge movement, maybe towards the 30-cent mark, and then hopefully take off in the next few months and make a run towards 80 to 90 cents here.
I think you're going to see a lot of things take off in the next week or two. Like you said, it's getting very late in the bull run and what we want to be altcoin season, but is not quite yet altcoin season. But we're right on the edge of it. So I have a feeling that this next week and then the week after that are going to be pretty explosive. And after that, you may see it cool off in September, but like you said, there's not that much time. And then we get into Pumptober, and Pumptober is when the fireworks start, right?
That's when you want to take profits. Don't get caught buying in October.
Right.
Here's what I'm afraid of. If you're new, things start going crazy in October, and other shows will be saying, oh my God, the alt season just started. Buy, 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 buy. If you want to be selling in October, do your own research. You got to buy now. That's the reality. And it's not comfortable buying now because we're at 117. We were just at 124. And some of these altcoin charts look like they're dead. And some of them haven't had positive movement for 6 to 12 months. But now's kind of the time. Remember, though, the more obscure you get in these lists, there's not enough money for all of these tokens, right? So if you put all your money into Fartcoin, just be prepared for a downer. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I would be careful putting your money into Fartcoin, but I think if you're playing in the top 100, and then if you are looking at coins that actually have a future, really doing your own research and digging in. I mean, during the bear, we looked at some coins and took a deep dive on some coins. There are some coins that exist out there that have websites that look like Word documents. You just do a little bit of research and you can tell that that company is going nowhere.
By the way, XRP is retraced all the way back to 308. Might be a nice pickup. I mean, I would be floored. I mean, again, I'm not giving financial advice. If we don't get to $4 XRP at some point in the next couple months, I would be absolutely shocked. And that's a nice little gain. It's not going to make you rich and have you retire, but 3 to 4, it's almost a given at this point. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. That's just an example. I actually think it'll make a run towards 5 and higher. But I'm just
XRP
saying,
has
you
a
got some nice
strong
replays here.
community. Just like Doge,
You,
a strong community can carry a token a long, long way. And XRP has a
especially in a short
huge
amount of
community.
time. One that people make fun of me for, the Litecoin, normally Litecoin right now into October traditionally has done very well. I've seen a lot of charts, you don't laugh, call for a 250 Litecoin. You can get it right now at 119. A lot of charts are saying in the next 6 weeks, Litecoin could double. That's very realistic. Remember, Litecoin is offered like you can get on some very safe places that are not necessarily huge crypto hubs and get Litecoin. Like Fidelity offers Litecoin. Just give an example. Solana 186.
Now, that's a
I
great
don't know.
point that you just made there, that the availability of some of these tokens and the people who are first coming into crypto aren't going to be willing to necessarily jump onto Kraken or any of these other crypto
I thought you said jump on crack.
no, they're not going to be willing to jump on Kraken or even Coinbase, some of them, but they will use their Robinhood accounts, they will use their PayPal accounts to accumulate crypto. And you're right, Litecoin is one of those ones that is available a lot more places than others.
Avalanche right now is at 23. Even ETH has gone back to 44. I mean, I'm looking at a 5 to 6K for taking profits with ETH. I'll give you one from the past that you can get at less than 2.5 cents right now. That I still think VeChain. I'm being serious. Being serious. The chart says it looks good. It looks good to get to 8 cents this year. You can get it right now under 2.5. If it gets to 8, that's a nice little pickup right there. You know, the VeChain all-time high is 27 cents.
Yeah, that's what I was
It's
going
not
to say.
likely to get there. But 8 cents, it could get there,
Absolutely.
right? It really could. You know what? The VeChain market cap is down all the way to almost 2 billion right now. I mean, look.
That might be a good entry point for VeChain, regardless of what you think of them. But they are developing.
I mean, it's not a great look.
VeChain's not a dead project.
Most of these projects don't deliver on what they promise, but we're to the point now where utility still doesn't matter. That's why something like PangU can go from nothing to 2 billion, and people are still calling for a 10 billion PangU. I mean, you do get the figures and action figures or whatever, and the stuffed animals, but you get what I'm saying. It's if it was really about utility, Cardano wouldn't be at, I always pick on Cardano, a $33 billion market cap, right? And something like Avalanche, which actually has signed a major deal with a state, wouldn't be, I mean, at 10 billion. I mean, Avalanche actually is very undervalued if we actually ever cared about utility. Remember when they were supposed to make a big deal of American crypto project that had utility, and that was going to be, well, if that ever does happen before the end of the year, Avalanche will skyrocket because it's gone over 100 before. Just as an example, okay? I don't own any Avalanche, but maybe I should try to figure out how to get some very soon. All right, guys, it was a great show. A lot here. Please share the show. Do your own research right now, because I think this is one of the times where we've got this reset. Maybe we weren't expecting it, but I agree. I think there will be an altcoin season, short, but still profits to be made. So let's hope we can make them together. For MrFOMO, AZcrypto.